Hey, shalom everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and you're watching the Ponderings of the Perkei Avot. Today we are in chapter 3, verses 18 and 19, and I'm going to be reading directly from my commentary because I want to make sure that my words are right because we're dealing with a very heady, weighty, push-button topic of predestination, which has been the bane of debates between people that are for predestination, Calvinist, and Arminianist, which are free willers. I happen to be an Arminianist, by the way. I do believe in free will, but I also believe in predestination. I believe that the both go together, hand in hand. I'll explain later. Let's get on with the text. He would also say, "Beloved is the man, for he was created in the image of God. It is a sign of even greater love that it has been made known to him that he was created in the image. As it is said, for in the image of God he made man," Genesis 9:6. "Beloved are Israel, for they are called the children of God. And it is a sign of even greater love that it has been made known to them that they are called the children of God. As it is stated, you are the children of the Lord your God," Deuteronomy 14:1. "Beloved are Israel, for they are given a precious article. And it is a sign of even greater love that it has been made known to them that they were given a precious article. As it is stated, I have given you a good purchase, my Torah, do not forsake it," Proverbs 4:2. Now this is the verse that I want to focus on, verse 19 of chapter 3. "All is foreseen, and freedom of choice is granted." Wow, there we have the rabbis and sages talking about predestination and free will all at the same time. "All is foreseen and freedom of choice is granted. The world is judged with goodness, but in accordance with the amount of man's positive deeds." This tells us that predestination and free will go hand in hand. Like chocolate and peanut butter, like peanut butter and jam. There's some things that are good by themselves, but things that are even greater when you put them together because they work in harmony and complement each other. And we like to think of predestination and free will as juxtaposed and polar opposites of one another. But let's look at us. We are logical, linear, time constraint beings. 1 plus 2 equals 3 kind of thinking. These are the traits of a finite creation such as ourselves. So such things as the concept of eternity and having no beginning seems to us a contradiction, a paradox, a conundrum. And that's the way we think about predestination and free will. How can it be both at the same time? And God is a infinite being. He is the uncaused cause. He is the uncreated creator. He has always been, and that just blows us away because we were born. We had a beginning. And so physically we have a beginning and physically we have an end. Spiritually speaking, we have a beginning but we don't have an end because spiritually we're going to live for eternity. So it blows our minds when we try to think about God as being uncreated, that he has always been in eternity past and will always be in eternity future, right? So above all though, what would we say is the main attribute of God? The main attribute of God would be his holiness, right? A holy God cannot be in the presence of sin, which according to 1 John 3:4 is anything that breaks the law, anything that breaks the Torah, that is sin. So let's talk about evil and predestination. Willing his creation, made in his image, to be only created for the purpose of being sent to hell, which, as the Brit Hadasha says, was actually prepared for the devil and his angels. That would be like birthing twins and raising one and throwing the other into a furnace. As if we, as evil humans, know how to give our children good gifts, bread instead of a stone and fish instead of a snake, according to Matthew 7:7 through 12. So if we are evil but yet know how to be good to our children, when they ask for bread, we don't give them a stone, or they ask for a fish, we don't give them a snake. So to God, he just doesn't create one of us to go to heaven and one of us to go to hell. Just as if I had twins, I wouldn't throw one in the furnace and just raise one and keep one for myself. No, God didn't create evil. He just created the possibility, in other words, the free will for evil to arise. The rabbis and sages of the Talmud and Tanya say even evil, sometimes called the klipa or sirta arka, though not a part of God, yet allowed by God to come to be by agency of free will, does not transgress his will, but works in conjunction with it to ultimately allow God's perfect will to come about. It is our choice to allow that to be or not. For instance, if we are presented with a temptation, we can succumb and fall, which is out of his will, or we can resist and overcome as a result of being stronger and being closer to God because of it. Though he knows the beginning from the end, he gave us the gift of choice to accept or reject him, his Torah and his Messiah. We are predestined in the sense that God knows, and we have free will because even though he knows, we still have a choice to choose. God doesn't want a bunch of pre-programmed robots serving him. Do you think God predestined that Hillel, Lucifer, should fall? Did he want it to happen? I don't think so. Obviously, Satan's fall, as ours, didn't catch God off guard, but he allowed it to happen because of free will. I know, many of you have already been forming lines of circular logic trying to say that what I'm proposing is an oxymoron and a contradiction in terms. I can't have it both ways. It's got to be one way or the other. Is anything impossible for God? Well, no, obviously. God forbid, right? By no means. Who are we to put him in a neat defined box to satisfy our curiosity of the unknown and possibly the unknowable? Now, this was said, I believe, by Norman Willis on NazareneIsrael.org. Some people think there is a logical conflict between predestination and free will choice. But in reality, there is no conflict because predestination accounts for men's free will choices. Predestination says the reason Hashem already knows who is and is not predestined to the adoption as sons is because he already seen every decision each and every person will ever make. I like that. So let's continue on with the commentary. I believe free will and predestination go hand in hand and work together, much like law and grace. Two seemingly diametrically opposed views, yet they work in conjunction with each other. That for the most part, both issues, law and grace, predestination and free will, modern Christians cannot seem to grasp as both existing and working together in unity. I think part of the problem is that many are looking at these issues from a Western philosophical standpoint and not from a Hebraic theological standpoint. It is absurd to believe sin, which a holy God abhors and can't be near, is his will. Yes, Adonai knew mankind was going to fall, yet it wasn't his perfect will. It was his permissive will. He allowed this thing to happen because even though he knows all, he allows us to choose. I do not pretend to know everything on this matter. For some things we will truly never know until we reach the world to come. Because how can a finite creation pretend to understand certain aspects of an infinite God? Just like Forrest Gump at his mama's grave told her something to the effect, Lieutenant Dan believes in fate, and Jenny thinks it's all a matter of chance. I think it's a little bit of both. In the words of Rabbi Nachman of the Breslov, there are certain questions which trouble many people, such as the problem of how free will can exist if God knows the future. It is necessary to realize that it is beyond the capacity of the human mind to understand these matters. The answers to such questions lie in the sphere of wisdom that is so transcendent that human mind is unable to attain it. This wisdom can never enter the human mind. It encompasses the mind from the outside. One who apprehends this wisdom would not be human at all. He would be an angel. It is precisely the fact that we do not understand these questions about free will that actually gives us the freedom we have. In the time to come, when men's minds will expand and the secrets of free will and providence will be revealed, free will as such will disappear. Man's mind will emerge from its limits and he will become like an angel with free will. As Forrest Gump said, that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for watching. Shalom, guys. Shavua Tov. Thanks for watching. Stay connected by subscribing to our other social media accounts and visiting our website at abrahamsdescendants.com.